We have an incredible guest this week, 4-time All-Star, Olympic gold medalist, 19,000 minutes, 12,000 points, one of Kentucky's best players of all time, and most importantly, a 2-time Outta Pocket guest, DeMarcus Cousins.
Give him the jacket.
Give
him the jacket.
Right.
Y'all put this nigga's minutes on there. That's how y'all know they did that deep research.
Can I get my 2-time All NBA though?
Yeah.
Hey, Chuck, that's on. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, fuck them minutes.
That's on me.
Hell no. Don't throw me on me.
Fuck them minutes.
Right.
That's on me when I was
give a fuck about
when I was
that.
college.
Keep this shit in the show.
What's up? This is Outta Pocket. Zach, tell them what type of show this
This
is.
is a weekly NBA review show. It drops every Friday. You can get it on YouTube. You can get it on Spotify. You can get it on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Hit the sub button and also follow us at Buckets.
If you don't, we're going to get fired.
So we had you in Vegas, you know what I mean? And we want to just let the fans get to know you a little better. So we want to ask you a few questions. And the first one is, where did Boogie come from? I've always known you as Boogie, but I never knew where that came from. Where did that come from, the nickname?
Nickname came from, my OG, Rod Strickland. He was my coach my year at Kentucky.
Okay.
So, he had a saying, where it was, you talk about certain guys and their game, and it's like, well, I like the I like how this guy can move. Or
For
like the wiggle to his game.
Yeah.
Well, our term was like Boogie, like, oh, he got Boogie in his game. Like,
I thought it was like a childhood name. I thought you picked your nose when you was a kid or something. It was like, what I mean?
My childhood nickname is actually Big Cuz.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I grew up as Big Cuz. So.
I mean,
but
I'm from L.A.
Right, that
when we
means
hear Big
something
Cuz,
out here, you feel me?
Were you just the big cousin, or where's the Big Cuz come from? Okay. That's all we need. And ladies and gentlemen, that look lets me know exactly what we need to know. When you heard the Boogie name, though, the first time, were you like, I'm rolling with this? How long did it take it to stick?
The Boogie name?
Yeah.
Well, it was, honestly, it kind of started off as a practice thing, and it was like this blog site that covered Kentucky basketball at the time. It was called Kentucky Sports Radio.
Oh, it's baller.
For sure.
That's the spot.
This was before Instagram, Twitter,
All of that shit,
So,
yeah.
you had to go type in this joint to go read the blog. So this was like the #1 site, and it was huge for the Kentucky fan base. So they kind of started on this random day, started a poll of what my nickname should be.
They just gonna give you a nickname,
yeah,
right?
It was really.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I was one. I was a fan favorite along with some other guys on the team. So they
made
kinda,
sense.
Yeah, they kind of picked us apart. But when it came to me, what's the nickname? And it was some weird shit, whole bunch of different names. And so they ended up choosing the Boogie name, and it's stuck, and the rest is history.
So believe it or not, Bobby Hurley is the reason I fell in love with basketball. And I know that sounds anti-black as a motherfucker, but we grew up.
He's disgusting.
Disgusting. And you should be.
We need context.
I only watched North Carolina and Duke
bro.
games growing up. And I'm like, who is this little scrappy? I was 10 years old, my G. Mm-hmm. So who is this little scrappy dude, getting busy? You feel me? This was 92.
Right.
So there's a reason behind it. I just didn't, hey, I want to, I'm a fan of that white boy right there. You feel what I'm saying?
If you'd have said Leitner, I would have walked off.
And understandably so.
But I rock with Leitner, though.
He used to get busy. He had a good.
You might be the only Bob Hurley fan in the
Bro,
world.
period. I was hurt when I was
Bob Hurley Sr. rocking
I was
with
a
him.
big fan too. I was a big fan. Anyway, so who's the guy you grew up watching and was like, yo, I'm gonna do this when I grow up. I love this game.
My guy, Carmelo Anthony.
Damn, that's crazy.
Wow.
Of course.
Carmelo Anthony, 100%. I had some guys I looked up to early on, but as a professional, how I wanted to play my game, it was Carmelo.
That makes sense because you the type of dude that seems like that the AAU coach would be like, do his ass, give you the ball and you just do his ass. You just do your thing out there. You just a hooper.
But were they hating though in AAU?
Man, I was playing the 5-5
I grew up in the era where it was you 6', you the center.
Yeah,
right.
You
So
know
you
what I'm
played that
saying?
your whole life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but for me and the way I grew up playing ball, I started off so naive with the sport. I started late. I started playing basketball in the 7th grade.
Oh, wow.
So I was so naive to the sport. When I started playing, I'm like, I'm going to do whatever the hell I seen these other guys do.
Right.
So if I got a rebound, I'm taking off.
Yeah.
Sometimes that motherfucker ended up in the stands, and sometimes I
Get
made
that
it
dribble
work.
You
down
learn from
there.
your mistakes, though.
I learned from my mistakes,
Yeah.
but luckily I had a coach that believed in my talent, and he allowed me to, play through those mistakes, and I got better and better at it to eventually I think a well-rounded player.
How important was that for you though at that age? Because that's what I'm saying. Like, you're 6'10", you go back in those days, and this is why I get so fascinated with the Bobos and the KDs of the world. Back in those times, it was like, get your big ass in the post, go rebound,
playing the post.
jump hooks, up and unders. So when you bringing the ball up the court, and for a coach to really be like, all right, DeMarcus at that point, because it was pre-Boogie, but like, go ahead, or Big Cuz, whatever they were calling you, go ahead and you can go ahead and just push it up the court.
Honestly, I was cool with it because at the end of the day, I wanted it to where I had no weaknesses in my game.
I respect
I
that.
could dribble the ball, I could shoot the ball, I could post up. So in my favor, it ended up working out for me. So, but for everybody else coming up, I think you as a player, you should never like limit yourself or put yourself in just a category or a box as a player. And like I said, that old school way, that usually happened because, I could think of 10 guys off the top of my head where I feel like they could dribble the ball better than they were allowed to, shoot the ball more than they were allowed to. And sometimes they got lost in the sauce because they weren't able to show those other skills. So,
Hey, for all you coaches out there that still be on that old school bullshit, listen to this man right here. Let your big man cook. Let them push the ball.
Game
up
has
the court.
changed. You
Shoot
feel me?
threes.
Come on,
we want
man.
more Bobos and Boogies in this
we
league.
got plenty of them now.
Yeah.
man.
That's the whole league.
The game is evolved so much now. I love where it is as far as guys playing outside of their box or their narrative. So you're getting the Bobos and the Jokic's and the Embiid's and the young boy coming. I can't pronounce it.
Wemby.
We call him Wemby.
Wemby.
We gonna call
Yeah.
him Big Vic.
We
We gonna call him
that's
Big Vic. Yeah, Big Vic. He's a game changer.
For sure.
Can I ask you? You started playing basketball like 13th, 7th grade. What year was it? How old were you when you're like, I could probably do this in the NBA?
So my story is kind of crazy. Like I said, I started off late. I started off playing football first. I thought I was,
What position?
bro, I didn't play.
Ooh.
That's the crazy thing. Like, I wanted to be an NFL star, and I did not touch the field.
Your big ass wasn't out there. They didn't let you go out
So
there.
it was weird for me because I was taller than everybody
Yeah, yeah.
else, so I weighed more. But I had to play with older kids.
Okay, so that makes sense.
My physicality, my mindset, I couldn't match up with the older
Yeah,
kids,
yeah.
so I was just there.
Especially in Alabama.
Exactly.
I'm putting your ass out there to block field goals at least, though.
By seventh,
Go block a field goal.
Something.
by 7th grade, my mom was like, "Hey man," and I was a product of my environment as well. So my mom was like, "Hey man, we gotta figure something out. Like you gonna have to do something."
Right.
So it was kind of this gap in my life where I was just out here. Like, so what weird story? I was in 7th grade. I'm actually skipping class at the time.
In 7th grade?
7th
To
grade,
do
I'm
what?
skipping class.
Anything.
Bullshit.
Yeah, you feel me? Yeah.
I'm skipping class, and this AAU coach walks by, and he's thinking and at this time I'm like 7th grade. I was like 6'5", 6'6".
God damn.
So
You should have been hooping.
exactly,
What you mean?
exactly.
Right.
So the coach is like, you on the varsity?
Right,
or something?
right,
I'm
right.
like, man, I don't even hoop,
Right,
bro. I'm
right.
just, and he's like blown away. So then he starts thinking I'm older. I'm like, nah, I'm in the 7th grade.
Right.
So and the way my school was set up, the elementary, middle school, and high school was all combined.
That makes sense, bro.
So
That's dangerous.
That
in
makes
middle,
sense, though.
it was
That makes
very.
sense.
That's dangerous.
Like I said, I'm a product of mine.
Oh,
It was rough, bro. Like, it was rough. But so he automatically, like I said, thought I was a high schooler.
For
So
sure.
I ended up telling him, I'm in middle school. I don't even play. He's like, I need you at practice this evening.
ASAP.
Like,
This evening, yeah.
so shout out to Gary, Coach Gary. But ended up meeting my AAU coach, and basically he was like a father figure to me, and a guy named Danny Pritchard. And that dude had me in the gym every single day.
Sure.
So like I said, I started in 7th grade. By the end of my freshman year, I was ranked the #1 player in the country.
That's
Goddamn.
crazy. 3 years playing basketball.
And and that's how it happened. And then after that, it was just like everything was. It was like this. Like,
When you'd go, I mean, you'd obviously know the other guys in state that were highly touted and stuff. When you'd go and cook them, were you like, this is getting easier
I think
and
that
easier?
saved me because, like I said, I was so naive to it. Like, When I got my ranking, well, before I got the ranking, I went to the last All American camp in Indianapolis. And I know who all these guys are now. Like,
yeah.
Most of them ended up in the NBA.
Yeah.
So I go into camp and I'm just this little hood baby. I pull up to the camp because my coach told me to.
Right.
I'm seeing all these tall. I'm like, damn, these dudes tall. Like
Who
everybody.
was saying that?
Yeah.
Okay. Damn.
This is my first time ever being around
right.
like elite talent.
Okay,
Or,
for sure.
Who was
like,
there? What kind of dude?
Man, Derrick Rose.
For real.
Anybody you, bro. It was Eric
Gosh,
Gordon,
there. You know what I mean?
gods.
Right.
So I don't know who any of these guys are. Like I have no clue who Derrick Rose is. So I'm seeing this dude perform, and I'm like, what?
I ain't never seen nothing like this.
Bro,
before.
it's crazy. Sheesh. And I even got a crazy story. Like I got banged on in the camp. Like,
Talk about
Hey,
it.
it happens. It happens to the
gonna-
best of
I
us.
wanna-
If you play ball, it happens.
It happens.
I'll tell you who he's from though, and it's gonna mess you up. And dude was really cold at the time. Well, he was always cold. But it was Chandler Parsons.
What?
That feels racist.
Chandler.
Chandler Parsons.
How'd he catch you though? Tell it. Break down the
Baseline,
scene.
Baseline.
Body to body, just
Baseline flush. So I'm like I said, I have no clue who this guy is. I don't know what
at least
he
he's
does.
league.
Did he
Yeah.
talk
You
shit
know
or
what
did
I
he
mean?
yell?
Nah, because
he knew
everybody
better.
was getting dunked
But he
on.
knew better
for
than
me,
that.
it was my first time, and I'm like, holy shit.
This is out
Sick.
here.
This was my first game, first little scrimmage in the camp.
White boy too. That had to
Bro,
be
it-
shocking.
Fucked me up. Fucked me up.
Mom, I got dunked on by a white boy today.
Chandler went baseline, banged out, and Chandler was like 6'9" at this. Like,
So,
Yeah.
Chandler was the
moving.
same height,
Right.
moving. This when he had the long, like, the sunshine.
Sonny,
Like,
yeah, for
sunshine,
sure, yeah.
So went baseline, banged out crazy, and I'm like, man, where am I?
Right.
Hey, to be real, if I would have done so, y'all would apologize. Like, sorry.
Man, I was
sorry,
sick.
sir.
I was a baby, bro. I had no clue what I was doing. So I would just remember my coach in the camp. He was like, just run. All I need you to do is run, and everything else gonna take care of itself. Every possession I got, I just ran. I
Right.
just ran hard as I could. Ended up leaving the camp the #1 freshman.
Sheesh.
Wow.
So that's kind of how my basketball story started. But to answer his question, when did I know I was pro? So honestly, it happened at Kentucky.
Yeah.
Wow.
This whole, like I said, I'm so naive to the sport. Like, I didn't know any professional athletes. I couldn't call an NBA player and ask
sure.
for advice. Like, where I'm from, we didn't have anybody
For
professional.
sure.
The biggest star I knew coming up, rest in peace, was Stanley Robinson. Went to UConn. So played in the league a little bit too, but that was my superhero. Like, and I was saying how I modeled my game after certain people, but the original person was Stanley Robinson.
Wow.
6'9", could do it all, handle the ball, had crazy bounce. Like, I'm like, damn, I want to be like
For
this.
sure.
He was a neighborhood hero, like superstar in our eyes.
Right.
So as far as me, like, ever really believing in myself about being a pro, it was never really a reality for me because, like I said, it wasn't in front of me. I never knew. Like, I was ignorant to it.
You're a McDonald's All-American, and you didn't think you were pro.
Nah.
Wow.
Can I ask you on that McDonald's All-American team, was there a guy that you were like, that guy for sure is going to be a dog, and maybe it surprised you when it didn't happen for them? Or because
The only guy I ever say that was better than me coming up, like through high school, is Renardo Sidney.
Hey, Renardo is a dude.
Bro.
Woo.
He started this whole, well, I take that back. That's not true. But for me in my era and in my class, like the original big that did everything, handle the ball, shoot it, like pass, it was Renardo Sidney.
I mean, he played at Artesia with Harden.
Unreal, bro.
I saw them play Modern Day, and I always remember the story. My dad was doing the game. I walk into Modern Day's locker room. They got the Ware twins, a bunch of other dudes. Dudes are quiet, solemn, like nervous. Walking to Artesia's locker room. Harden got that whole crew in there rapping, freestyle and shit. I go tell my dad, like, fucking Artesia about to bust Modern Day's ass. Like, this is not even gonna be a game. Like, but yeah, that dude, and it's one of those stories where I think he was Artesia, ended up bouncing around because he was young at that point. But it
He
bounced
left
around.
Mississippi. He's originally from Mississippi. He
Yeah.
ended up going to moving out to LA freshman year.
Yeah.
And he started off at Artesia and graduated from Fairfax.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Renardo
but
Sidney, legend.
Dude was, man, It's one of the coldest I ever seen do it. I remember being in high school. It was sophomore year. So this is after I got ranked #1, but, you know, this was by our rivals. But, you know, it's 1,000.
ESPN, all bunch of, yeah.
So plenty others had Ronaldo ranked above me. It's whatever. You know, Lance was up there. John was up there. It was a bunch of guys. Xavier Henry, whatever.
Ooh.
Yeah,
So,
he was one of the ones, too. We was talking about
Yeah,
that.
he was.
Yeah.
But I remember an article coming out, and they were saying Ronaldo Sidney could start for the L.A. Clippers right now.
Fuck. That's crazy.
And you
And
believe
I'm
it?
like, damn, that's hard. Yeah,
stretch.
we in high school. I'm
Right,
like,
that's
that is
wild. That's
hard,
wild,
bro.
yeah.
Like, so I'm like, yeah, this dude is untouchable. In my mind, like, this dude is untouchable. bro. Like,
right.
So, but the crazy thing about it, me and Nardo didn't get a chance to play each other.
I was wondering that.
Until our senior year of high school.
How did that go?
We both did horrible.
Really?
I didn't know where this
I'm
was
not
going.
gonna say horrible, but
What was the numbers looking like?
I had 14, he had 15.
Okay.
It was some bullshit. Like,
Were the guards hating? Because for me, that's a premier matchup. I'm really trying to let
it
you cook.
actually was just a really good game. Like,
Okay.
it was a really good defensive game. It was in the Iolani Classic in Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
Okay, for sure. Was it nerves?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. It's just, it wasn't really a game. It was more of a team game
Okay,
that
for sure.
night.
That
It
makes
wasn't
sense.
where the headline guys was about to get off and give a
Battling,
show.
you know
No,
what I
it
mean?
was,
Yeah.
and this was, I think it was close to winning the whole tournament. So
Okay.
at that time, it was like, fuck the stats. We
Right,
trying to
right.
win the the tournament.
Right.
So it was, the numbers were light, but like me getting the chance to play against them, that put me in a comfortable light. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I can keep pushing
For sure.
to, you know, get to the next level. I didn't outperform him, but I'm neck and neck with a guy that I consider that's really good,
Yeah.
and the rest of the world felt was really good.
That he could play for the
So
Clippers.
I'm
That is a
like,
wild take.
that's a wild take.
That's a wild take. Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, looks like I'm going in the right direction.
So last question on your high school stuff, but obviously you #1 freshman, you end up becoming a man McDonald's All-American. Want to ask you, this is something I want to ask every hooper. Who was the first college you got a letter from? And we know you were supposed to be at Memphis with Coach Cal. Coach Cal leaves Memphis, go to Kentucky, you follow him. But what was the school that if you didn't go to Kentucky, you would have went to?
So it started like this for me. Like I said, I started in 7th grade. My 8th grade year, I ended up going to my first, like, I guess, little mini skills camp or whatever, and it happened to be at Indiana University.
Okay.
When Coach Mike Davis was there at the time.
Legend.
So Mike Davis sent me my first letter, like, as an 8th grader.
Handwritten?
It was some
Or
little
the janky
bullshit,
one.
but for
Okay.
me, it was just like,
No,
oh,
you know.
shit.
You know that feeling.
Yeah. And I thought it was cool because, one, I had just started the previous year. So I'm like, that was kind of cool. Like,
Yeah.
That's a
still
great
not
great
really
school.
thinking
Right,
anything of it, but I'm like, damn, it's cool. Like, so me and Mike Davis kept a relationship, throughout the years. And Mike Davis ended up leaving Indiana and getting the job at UAB, which was my hometown. at the
Blazers.
time. I was living in Birmingham at the time. So when it kind of happened, I'm like, oh, this shit kind of like meant to be.
You be the
Like,
biggest recruit they'd ever had by.
I'm still
a
the biggest
trillion.
commitment ever.
Right. You didn't even pull up. You
Right.
feel me? Right.
So, so for me, I'm like, oh, this shit is meant to be.
Right.
Like, so committed, and me and Mike tried to, finesse it and create our own little plan where I could actually play for him, but on a bigger, platform. So my plan was I'm gonna just commit to Mike Davis, and hopefully, and Mike Davis at the time was trying to get the job at Alabama.
Okay.
So he was trying to use, my name, his name, try to make something happen.
For sure.
Respect it.
Obviously, it didn't happen. Like, it didn't happen that way. So after my sophomore year, I'm going into my junior year, and I ended up leaving Birmingham and going to my birth town of Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah.
So this is kind of, for me, this is when I think I took those next steps as like becoming a pro. I got blessed with my coach, Otis Hughley. He really, he helped me understand the game. He in the beginning, I was just playing off raw talent. Like, I didn't know what I was doing though. Hughley slowed the game down for me. He helped me understand. He helped me how to understand how to make the guys around me better. I didn't have to score 40 in order, like, you know,
Yeah.
really understanding
learning basketball, not just hooping. You
Right.
feel me? Right.
So I think that's who started turning the knob for me on becoming a pro. So he called me in the classroom one day. He's just like, what the fuck are you doing? You got Kentucky, you got Carolina, all these schools, you know, calling, checking in, and you're going to fucking UAB. Like,
That's a real one. He was being a real one.
he was like, you're a top 10 player in the country, and you're going to UAB.
Yeah.
And he was like, and it's not because you love the school, it's because you want to be back home where you're comfortable.
Yeah.
So I thought about it. I'm like, damn, he right. Like, I'm like, man,
That's
he
real
right.
shit.
Like,
If you go to UAB, do you think you still in the place you are today?
no.
So you say, like you said, you became a pro in Kentucky. So would you have that mindset at UAB?
I feel like if I would have went to UAB, all the dumb shit I was caught up in back
Makes
home,
sense.
I think it would have took over my life.
Makes sense.
Because I would have been in the middle of it. My mom removed me from it just for my hard-headed ass to try to go and get right back to it. So
It'd be like that though.
yeah, and you know, and I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. So it worked out perfectly. But you know, that conversation with Hughley that day, you know, it put things into perspective for me, and I feel like I made the right choice. So I opened back up my recruitment, and the sick part this is the sick part about all of this. My first college basketball game I saw, I went to a UAB game, and they were playing Memphis. So I'm going back to
University.
all the guys that influenced my game.
Yeah.
So I'm watching Memphis play. Like I said, I don't have a clue. And I'm watching Sean Williams play. I remember Sean
I
Williams.
remember Sean Williams.
I'm like,
What position he play?
the 2!
Okay.
This motherfucker was the 2!
okay.
So I'm like, actually, he was the 3. It was, I believe, Rodney McCartney at the 2. Anyway, Sean's dribbling the ball up the court, shooting threes, and I'm like, and it's just smooth. Like, it don't even look like he's really trying hard. And I'm like, I'm trying to be like that.
Right.
Hey, I want to be
right,
just
right,
like that.
right.
And I'm like, damn, I like this school, Memphis. Don't have a clue. Don't know shit about Kyle. Not just, I like this school, Memphis. I like how the jersey looks on Sean.
Hey, the jerseys back
They
in the
were
day,
fire.
they were fire.
Yeah, so I'm like, I like Memphis.
Right.
Fast forward, Kyle pops up in the picture. Not like, this is junior year now. After I reopened my recruitment, first thing I asked Kyle when he comes and visits me at a school that I'm at the time, first thing I asked him about, I'm like, so if I came to your school, would you let me play like Sean Williams? What you think he told me?
I would imagine,
Of course.
yeah. The fuck?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
And you come to my school, you do whatever you want.
I'm like, okay.
God tier recruiter. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, okay,
Cal, you feel me?
this
Right.
is perfect. Like,
Right.
okay.
Well, I gotta ask, what's that like with the Cal pitch? Because he's obviously legendary and like.
I mean, Cal is
truly-
Cal. Like, Cal's as slick as a can of grease, man.
Hey, he's on that
In a
Don
great way.
Pagnati for me.
Yeah,
Guy. He
right.
just,
Yeah.
Cal is
Cool
the
as
GOAT.
hell.
That's the GOAT, man. So, you know, obviously, like any other coach does, they tell you what you want to hear. Like, okay, I'm going to college, playing the 3.
Right.
Playing, you know, I'm handling the ball all day. Anyway, I got to get my guy John in here, too, so he can help me tell these stories.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Shout out to Fi. I love you, boy. But so I end up committing to Memphis. I want to get to this college story too with
Okay.
Kyle. But I end up, you know, going on my visit. Sick part about this, I never took a visit to UAB.
What? Oh, okay.
I committed to UAB and
But
never.
you had to have been
but
there.
you knew
Played
what
in
the
the
campus
summer or
was-
The
something.
most I did was walk in the gym and play.
Okay, yeah.
I couldn't tell you what side of campus I was on, what this building was called. I knew
Right,
nothing
right,
about UAB. I never went on a visit, nothing. I knew Mike Davis and I knew how to get to the arena gym.
That's all you needed to know. But really,
So never took a visit. My first official visit was in Memphis. You know, at this time, Reek was there, Tyreek Evans.
ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. So Reek was there. Like that, they had a dope squad that year.
Watch
Reek
the
is
game.
slept on too, bro.
Yeah, he is. Reek killed that night, so good night, good visit. Everything was smooth. By the end of the night, I'm like, yeah, Cal, I'm gonna go ahead and rock with you. I want to be here. I like the environment. I like how the team was. The city was dope to me. It reminded me of back home, which may not have been a good thing, but at the time,
I love Memphis. I love
at
Memphis.
the time, I'm like, this
Memphis
me right
fire.
here.
I still love it. Yeah.
I'm like, I fit in perfectly.
For sure.
I ended up committing. Everything was smooth, and then Cal ended up making his move.
Second, yeah.
So to backtrack, sophomore year, I went to another camp. It happened to be at Kentucky. At this time, Billy Gillespie was there.
Oh, shit.
So I went to the
memorandum of
camp.
Understanding. I remember that one.
Went to the camp, killed everything in front of me. Gillespie calls me up he calls me up in the office, gives me this pitch. I don't even think he knew who I was until after the camp.
Right.
So, he's like, I would love to coach you. Typical bullshit, whatever. So then he invites me to their practice. I'm like, oh, hell no.
What you mean?
The way they played?
The way he had him running and shit like
This
that?
dude was out of his mind. Screaming, vain. I'm like, ain't no way in hell I'm playing for this dude. Like, what? The practice was like, it was insane.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of know the Billy G backstory. It'll make sense. If
What
you know
time of year was this? Was this?
This was summer.
Okay, so this is when they having the
Yeah, it's just like
okay.
bullshit.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, this dude is
Yeah.
crazy.
Summer joints was crazy though. Like what was that? The 45-minute workouts that they had
And
you
this
doing.
was
You could do like 2
this
hours.
wasn't even nothing like that. It was just like,
just summer run. Just
I don't even know what, it wasn't an official practice, obviously.
That's what I'm
because it was in
saying, like,
summer,
can't
but-
you
it
just-
feels like
that's
it's
illegal.
yeah.
you feel me?
But the
But he's
practice,
yep.
I'm just like, this
If he's-
dude is crazy.
tweaking.
He's got the
Tweaking.
veins out during that
Yeah,
practice.
so I'm like,
Yeah, I saw another coach do that. I was sitting next to a big time recruit. I'm not going to say any names, but you guys know me. You could probably put 2 and 2 together. But saw elite recruit. We're right behind the bench. Coach is going at dudes. I'm looking at this dude like, hey, there's no fucking way. I'm trying to give him the pitch
that's
before.
what I'm saying. I'm like, Coach, I don't want nothing to do with this shit. So, we go on about it. I lead the camp, great reviews. I get letters from Kentucky and all that. So we fast forward back to, Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kentucky now. Cal took the job. I had already seen Kentucky. I went on, it was basically an unofficial visit.
Right.
Fuck it, Cal, I'm going to Kentucky too. That's basically how I went from
Right.
I'll figure out the rest when I get there.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't want to open up recruitment again. If like Cal, I'm following you. I trust you gonna do right by me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing the 3 and shit.
I'm still the 3 though, right?
Bring the ball to the court, pulling from deep. You
Right,
feel me?
in my mind, I'm playing the. I'm going with Cal. I'm
Right,
playing
right,
the 3.
right. I'm Sean Williams. Fuck you mean? You feel me?
So you know what I'm saying? We fast forward to the first practice. First official practice. All summer, I've been handling Patrick Patterson at the time.
Ball drills and all that shit.
Me and Pat going at it all summer. I'm getting my shit ready. I'm like, excuse me. I'm like,
It's all good. It's
you
just
know
the
what I'm
MJ
saying?
cologne. It's just the MJ
We
cologne.
get
It's
to
good.
it.
NBA
We get
shoulders,
to
you
it.
feel
I'm
me?
like, I'm going to be ready when season come around. Man, that first practice came. I got a rebound and took off. Didn't make a mistake, nothing. I made it past half court with the ball. Kyle blew the whistle. Stop sweating. What the fuck are you doing?
Yo,
I'm
not
like-
Cal.
I'm like, what? I'm playing my game. He's like, motherfucker, I got the #1 draft pick
PG.
next year at point guard, and I got my fucking center dribbling the ball up.
Hey, I would have been like, you got the
Told
number
you,
5
bro.
here too, coach. Shit. Number 5 here too.
I'm not that guy.
I already know.
I'm not
Yeah.
that guy.
Right.
I'm not that guy.
Right.
Which is cool or whatever. But in my head, like, I'm playing my game.
Right.
Kyle said, as long as you're putting on this Kentucky uniform, I don't ever want to see you do that again.
Damn.
So I'm fucked up. I'm like, what have I got myself into? Like,
The college coach okey doke.
Right.
bro, my whole
Master
like
salesman.
leading all the way up to like the collegiate season, I was mentally fucked
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, this dude has lied to me, and I'm signed my life over to him, and I don't know what to do now. Like,
Right.
And Cal plays so many mind games with you. Like, it's all, but
with the intention of making you better.
For sure.
It's always about making you
You never got
better.
to question that with Kyle.
Right.
You know what I mean?
His intention is always to, get the best out of you and make you better. So he's playing all these little mind games with me, and I'm just like, fucked. Like, I made a mistake. Like, I don't know. At this point, I'm like, I don't even know what to do.
Right,
Like,
right.
I don't know how to. I'm calling my mom. Like, I'm trying to come home. Like, this is bullshit.
UAB, here I come.
My mom, like, which I respect about my mom.
Yeah.
She's like, nah, figure it out. You gonna be all right, figure it out.
Real one.
Right on.
So, me and Jay Wall are roommates. So, and me and Jay met each other when we were 14. So me and Jay roommates, and we vent to it. Jay going through it as well. Jay
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah, we trying to figure it out.
Right.
And I'm like 5, like, man, you trying to transfer? Like, what you?
Y'all was trying to.
I looked at me like, man, I'm cool. I'm like, damn. Like, I guess I got to figure it out too. But, long story short, shit started. I started figuring it out. Like, the game slowed down for me. And it's a big transition from high school to college. It's not as easy as, obviously some guys figure it out better than others. But for me, it was kind of a struggle in the beginning. So, eventually I figured it out. Eventually I dominated, the rest is history.
For sure.
But that story where Kyle told me I would be shooting threes, I did not shoot one three.
Your entire time?
My entire collegiate career.
You got to get one up just off the strength.
Right.
I already
Off
know.
the
Shoot it,
strength.
wink at him on the ball.
I did not shoot one three.
And then point at him, Sean Williams. You know what I'm saying?
Did the brightness of the lights there kind of surprise you? Like, because I remember being in college, I worked for the ASU team, seeing that Kentucky team and how famous you guys were was crazy.
Oh, it was ridiculous. But
Like,
the stage, like once we were on this, that wasn't my problem. It was everything leading up to it. Once the lights was on, I was on the floor.
Good to go.
Everything.
Basketball
Basketball just happened.
Yeah.
got it.
So, and once I kind of figured out, what Kyle wanted from me, I figured out my niche in that, everything. I played my role and it worked. But like I said, once the lights were on, everything felt natural. And I feel like when you a star and the lights come on, if you're a natural star, you're just gonna perform.
Can I ask you your all-time starting 5 under Cal at Kentucky? If you don't mind me putting you on the spot.
All right, so it's hard for me because people will get it mixed up with like collegiate and then pro careers.
Okay, for sure.
So are we talking about
college.
as
Talk
collegiate?
college. As collegiate
We want the
players.
shackled college, the shackled college players.
System.
You gonna play the three,
So
but
I'm saying,
right.
Me personally, the 3 pioneers for the Kentucky era is Jay Wall, Anthony Davis, and myself.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like we're the pioneers to, making this Kentucky shit cool again.
Yeah.
So,
They had been cool since like Mercer.
so
You know what I'm saying?
us 3 automatically. Then it starts to get tricky.
Yeah. Because like Book didn't get the minutes.
Book didn't get the minutes, but I mean, it's fucking Devin
I
Book.
didn't even know he was booked,
but he
until
was
he got into the
Murray
league.
didn't get the minutes, but it's fucking
Right,
Jamal
I didn't know
Murray.
he was him until he got into the league.
E. Blad was a fucking legend, but it's
Yeah.
like so many came after him. B. Knight, they don't even talk about him no more. B. Knight was that guy.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
So Tyler Eulis, incredible. T. Jones dominated
Right.
college.
Yep.
So I don't know.
That's your
You
three,
know,
though.
I can give you
That's
the
your
3
three.
pioneers.
That's your
Yeah.
three.
Hey,
All right.
when all y'all get together, who's the top dog though? Who's the dude that everybody looks up to that's
I
running
think
shit?
it's the originals.
Okay, y'all 3.
No, us 2.
Us 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Myself and
Yeah.
John.
I just want
Yeah.
to check
Okay.
it. Just
I
check
think
it.
when we all get together, we know who the alphas are
Right.
at the group. And not saying it in a disrespectful way or anything like that, but like I said, I feel like we're the pioneers of the Cal era in Kentucky.
As a pioneer, what was your thoughts on Drake's honorary status? Getting to go through warm-up lines, do that kind of stuff. What was your kind of thought?
No issue with it, Drake.
Okay.
Drake, UK, man.
Of course.
But does
I
Drake
rock
have
Kentucky
game?
blue on these old.
Baby.
Yeah.
But when you see
Drake-
like the
Drake
Drake
part of
air
the squad,
balls,
man. Huh?
we see the Drake air balls and all that type of
Midnight
stuff.
Madness.
You just got to keep dropping hits.
Oh,
Fuck the air
but
ball.
can somebody
We'll take
work
care of the
with him, though?
basketball.
Just-
You
Thing
think-
is, if I tried to go do what he does, I would airball.
You ain't never tried. We ain't got it. You know,
You
hit a
take
song
care,
out
yeah.
here in the
But do you
wild,
ever show up to
feel
the booth like, "Yo, Drake, I'm here. Let me go ahead and get on the mic real quick"?
I would, and
Okay.
I think he would let me.
Okay,
stay.
That's all we. As
I
long
feel
as
like I
it's
would
reciprocated.
airball. I feel like I would airball.
So you said you and John Wall were roommates together at Kentucky. I need to know who was like the clean roommate, who was, because, I remember my college time, and it was pizza boxes and, other things, paraphernalia and
That's
things
one thing
going
me
on.
and him agreed on. We kept the room.
Kept it nice?
Yeah,
Okay.
We weren't trying to live amongst junk. So.
Okay. That's respect.
Yeah, Me and Five kicked it so much, bro. Like,
Bro, I remember 2011, the NBA lockout, we got the Drew League versus the Goodman League. You pull up and play with the Goodman League, and I remember I was there filming. I was kind of scratching my head like, he's not from the DMV, but then
I was living in the
but
DMV.
so
at
it
the
counted
time.
then. Oh, so okay, you had the address. You had the address. So
yeah.
Had a
okay,
license
you were
plate.
verified.
I was living there because my first me coming into the league, my first training was shout out my guy Keith Williams out of the DMV.
Okay.
So I was living there after I left school. I was living there, and lockout I was living there.
Okay.
So I lived in the DMV probably 2 to 3 years.
Oh, so you were official. They got you in, like Adam Banks and
I
Mighty
was
Ducks.
out there too. Yeah.
They got you in the
I
zone.
I got some people out there. So
DMV is special.
You were zoned.
One of my favorite cities in the nation.
for
You
sure.
feel me? But you talked about AD. You know what I mean? Are these like AD's been going crazy lately? You know what I mean? I think your best years were the years in New Orleans playing with him too. You was a best 5 in the league. Do you think these are AD's? Like this is AD's best year so far? Is he playing the best basketball you've ever seen him play?
Well, it's a short season right now, so
35 and 15, 60% from the field.
man, I've seen him put up crazy numbers.
Yeah, he had a
So
55.
So a game of him doing something crazy, it's just like, that's AD.
Yeah.
But to say his best season, it's TBD as of right now on this season. But
So
that year we were together and I went down, like he was already killing when we were, on the floor together.
Sure.
But once I went down, like, dude went to a whole nother level. Like, and it kind of surprised everybody because, like I said, he was already dominating.
yeah.
So once he took it to a whole nother level, carried the team into the playoffs that year, without his counterpartner and myself, I still think that was his best season by far.
You, him, and Drew were on the same squad, bro.
Doe too. Can't forget Rondo. Can't forget
Sheesh.
Rondo. Yeah.
If you hadn't got hurt, is it close to chip time? What are you thinking? You think at some point y'all
that
could figure it out?
season, do I think we could have won a chip? Probably not. We were a few pieces away, but we definitely would have gave Golden State a run for their money in that second round. I do believe that we battled, pretty heavy during the regular season too. Went all the way down to the wire. They just couldn't. Draymond had to pick.
And I don't
And
think
then,
he had
whoever the other
I don't think
big
he had
was,
anything for
did
anybody
not
though.
even
I love
matter.
Dre.
Like,
I love Dre.
Draymond had to pick though.
But I don't think he had anything for either y'all. At that
didn't.
time point, yeah.
He didn't.
It was buckets that's going to be gotten.
Shout
you
out
feel
to
me?
Dre, and you
Respect,
know I'll
too.
tell you this to your face, but you can't guard me, bro. You know that.
And you know that.
And you know that.
On the note of Draymond, he put out his top 5 of all time. He's got LeBron at 1, MJ at 2, Kobe at 3, Steph at 4, and Shaq at 5. Now, I would love to know your top 5.
Shaq at 5?
Yeah,
Top 5 all time?
Top
Yeah.
5. Who's your GOAT too? You know what I mean?
if that's easier. Yeah.
See, top 5s are hard because you really got to
I know.
debate and you got to
top
get in.
5s are hard. I don't want to hear no top 5 without Tim Duncan in it. Like,
I respect that, bro.
Yeah, I do
Ladies
too.
and gentlemen,
like that's just
respect
how I
that.
feel. I think he's one of the most disrespected. Fuck the basketball part, just winners of all time. Like,
Yep.
but why do you think? Is it the Old Navy? Is it the baggy fits?
The sandals.
Is it the Birkenstock
It wasn't
sandals?
sexy.
yeah, it wasn't sexy. He wasn't as marketable as these other guys, and he's not all. I mean, he's almost like a Jokic. Like, Jokic is an incredible player, but he's born. And that's just how Jokic is.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away his talent. Like, he's not a guy that's going out of his way to be liked or to be on TV. He just goes and does his job and he goes home. I think that's what Tim Duncan was. But on a whole nother level. Like, since he stepped foot in the L, he won.
Yeah.
He's done nothing but win. I believe, I may be wrong, but from my knowledge, I think he's the most winningest player of all time. So if that's not top 5 on top of all the accolades that come with it, I don't.
They made the
He's
playoffs
never had
every
a
year,
losing
right?
season.
Damn near 20-10 getting out the
he's
car,
never
bro.
had a losing
You know what I
season.
mean?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Getting those Old Navy fits off, so that lets you know.
Birkenstocks and all.
But Kawhi gets the same kind of thing. And I remember watching Kawhi earlier on. I was talking to somebody about it. It's like you might not think he's a superstar just because he's not all loud and doing whatever.
Right.
But watch this dude play basketball. And that quiet shit, those are the scary ones. Like, I remember KG's interview on All the Smoke, but he was like, Duncan will still talk shit to you. Like, did you have any experience with? I know he was on the tail end of his career, but
Yeah. What did Timmy have for you?
What? Man? I used to get so frustrated playing against Tim Duncan because I could not figure him out.
Is he the player you did not want to play? Like, he was like the most difficult guard.
Timmy D, I couldn't figure him out, and I was a baby too, and he's well seasoned at this point, but I couldn't figure him out, and it was just like no matter how much strength I put into it, or how much I shuffled, or how hard it was just like
Glass. Yeah.
I heard he would like pat you on your butt, like good rebound.
bro, that shit
like
was
he
the
was
most
on
irritating shit.
Right, like bro, talk some shit, bro. I would
I
rather
thought I was.
that.
It was
that's meaner.
Right. To compliment me,
It
like,
is.
good job, you got a rebound.
Just call me a bitch or something,
Right,
dog. Like, don't
disrespect.
try
Oh,
and
he's
compliment me.
I got a man. So I finally had a successful night against Timmy. Like I'm having. It's not even a great night. It's just I'm having a decent, successful night.
Right.
So my young dumb ass decides to go talk shit to Timmy.
Oh,
Yeah, motherfucker.
Yo.
I remember like backpedaling down court, and Timmy looked up at me. He just looked at me, and didn't say anything. He just looked at me.
Hey, that's that Terminator shit.
That's
This is
powered
exactly
up.
what he did.
He
He looked
powered
at
up.
me.
You feel
He's
me?
jogging down court. He just looks down and starts like kind of laughing to himself.
That's so scary.
This is the fourth quarter. This dude ran off 16 straight.
He hit you with this
He
nigga.
ran off 16 straight.
What did you do though? What was you thinking?
when did
What
you
was
do that?
thinking?
Like
When you was
at
catching
4, at
16?
6, at 8.
This is what it was. Like I said, I'm trying to get into a verbal like
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And he never said anything to me. So we go back to that butt tap.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's running off this 16 straight. Good job, big fella.
Oh,
That's so condescending,
And
bro.
I'm like, this motherfucker.
You ready to square off? You feel me?
But hey, and I mean, but at the end of the day, it wasn't where it was any ill will. I'm like,
For
this,
sure.
this is
For
fucking Tim
sure.
Duncan.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
That was definitely one of my like, welcome to the league.
Oh, okay.
Like this might have been like year 2.
If anybody gonna give it to you, and it's Timmy D.
Timmy
that's
D,
that's he
man.
gonna give it to you. You
That's
know what
not.
I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think I had like started having successful games against Tim probably until like my third or fourth year.
and was it that you got better, that Tim was just getting older?
I got better.
Yeah, okay.
It might have been a combination
both.
of both.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Okay, yeah.
To be honest, it probably.
Did
was
you
a
ever
combination.
return the butt pat to him at any other
Hell
point?
no, I
Like,
left
okay.
Timmy alone.
He
bro.
learned his lesson.
Yeah.
Smart man. You
That's
feel me?
still once.
Yeah.
How do
Started
you?
asking him how his day was before the game. You having a good day?
You had a good game yesterday, Timmy D. You know.
Hey, how the family, Timmy?
Those new sandals?
I like the perks.
Need anything?
Is that a new 5X Old Navy tee?
15 and the fourth.
I left Timmy alone, bro. I don't want no problem. So my question to you guys is, can we get a top 5 all-time PGs list? Because I've been having this discussion back home in the gym a lot.
Do you feel like somebody shouldn't be on that list?
For me, it's Chris Paul. We every
I
time I
love
hear
those.
a top 5 PG list, Chris Paul is in it, and I'm not really understanding why. No knock to CP. I know people gonna say I'm biased or whatever. Strictly from an accolades and a performance standpoint, I don't think Chris Paul is top 5.
Is it Magic, Steph,
Steph.
Zeke?
Do you have Zeke in there in top 5?
Absolutely.
He got to be.
So I
three.
think it's 3 permanent.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Where does LeBron go in this point guard
That's not a
list?
point.
LeBron,
He's just a
Come on,
goat.
point
He's
forward.
just a goat.
LeBron
there we go.
initiates
But
the
he's just a
offense.
god, G.
He's just a goat.
LeBron initiates the offense.
He's a demigod.
Yeah.
Don't-
Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go.
So if
there
we're
we
not
go.
calling LeBron a point guard, we're calling Steph a point guard.
Yes.
So after those 3, CP3 is not behind. You don't see.
I just feel like the list starts to get.
Who are you putting?
crazy.
Who are you putting?
We got to bring up Steve Nash.
2 MVPs.
We got to bring up John Stockton.
See,
We got to bring
Diversity.
up Jason Kidd.
Do you put Iverson ahead of CP? Do you
I don't think
consider
Iverson was a one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eric Snow was running the one.
Yeah. Iverson was damn near a 3. You know the way he
really
was.
was.
He was just a bucket getter. You know what I
Aaron
mean?
McKee was out there on the
Right.
floor
Yeah.
with him too. It made no sense, but it worked.
Yeah.
Tom McCullough's big. I mean, just
Tom
looking at
McCullough.
that
Yeah,
squad,
right. That was a
Tom
five.
the
McCullough.
construction of that squad
right,
was like,
right.
all right, these little dudes, what they
Tom
gonna do?
McCullough had some touch around that ring.
No, he
Tom
not. No.
McCullough was
I remember
cool.
him back in college. Like he was that dude.
Let me ask you, Westbrook or CP3?
Then we got to bring in Westbrook.
Oh, wow. So you willing to put him above CP3?
I mean, he's an MVP.
That's a fact.
CP doesn't have that.
Doesn't have
That's what
that.
I'm saying. We talking about
Doesn't have the
accolades.
chip
We talking
either,
about
yeah.
performance. We talking about championships.
Numbers.
CP's a hell of a talent. He's been one since he stepped foot in the L.
The internet is going to be set ablaze.
I gotta put him in like 4 or 5 though.
Over
Who you putting on that list? Who you pushing off?
I think.
You
Shit.
gonna push Isaiah
I don't.
out?
You said
You
what?
gonna push Isaiah
No,
out?
Isaiah's in
three.
it.
That's what I'm saying.
Ain't no- I think. I
Them
think
three
Steph-
in
I
there.
think.
Okay.
You pushing Stockton out?
I think CP3 would have cooked fucking Stockton.
We not talking about who's better. We talking about accolades.
John, you're going to have to do
career.
diversity training after this
Pocket
shit.
passing?
Yeah,
Okay,
like,
no,
Here,
bro.
take John
We got
Stockton off the
all-time
list.
assists.
No, man, I mean, come on. You gonna say okay?
We got
okay.
all-time
All-time
assists,
he's
all-time
yeah.
steals.
God damn, bro.
And nobody's
Yeah, no
going to
one's-
break the record.
Right. Yeah.
Just because he looks like a State Farm insurance salesman. I'm just trying to take, because that's the very deceiving when you look at the
He
dude.
might have been at the Capitol on January 6th.
On that dream
but-
team, you want Stockton, you want CP3. If you could have switched it.
He was at AOC's office
here
on
for
January
hypotheticals.
6th.
We just here for the numbers, baby.
We
You know,
here,
for
we
the
here
facts.
for raw
I guess.
facts.
Ooh, that is ugly. That is it's hard to argue that. It's hard to argue that. And then Nash has those 2 MVPs, even though I think
One belongs to
Chris Paul's a
Kobe.
better player, but
One
I
is
think
Kobe.
a guy that
belongs
get
to
left
Kobe.
off
It's Kobe's.
PG list too is Tony Parker. And I know it was.
about
I
that
know it was. I
too.
know it was. He's a system guy. Like I'm not trying to hear none of that.
he was a bucket.
I feel like Tony's
He was a bucket.
He was a
Facts.
bucket.
Facts.
Let me ask you a
Tony's
question.
little 2-hand layup in the lane. I don't know how he got that
Man,
shit off.
That
you
spin
know what I mean?
move, scoop,
That little
unstoppable.
floater too.
Yes.
Motherfuckers didn't have a floater back then. He had, you know what I'm saying?
We got to go back to something that's really been irking and bothering me. Does LeBron James play point guard right now, in your opinion, in your expert NBA opinion?
LeBron is a GOAT, bro.
Who
He's in a category
initiates
of
the
his own.
offense on the Los Angeles Lakers?
Patrick Beverly. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I already know.
I feel like
I mean,
I'm going to make the
Obviously-
LeBron PG argument.
obviously you could put LeBron, but you could say the same thing about James Harden. You could say the same
Yeah.
thing
For
about Luka.
for sure.
They might not be traditional PGs, but they
Right.
get asked to play that. That's why, like, even, I think about my guy Rashad Phillips, the
Shit,
game is,
Lamar Odom was a point at one
Yeah, he
time. If
was.
that's the case,
that
so
was
fun
another
when he was.
argument we
yeah,
could make.
so fun to watch.
Because he was one of the first dudes when you talk about
Point
people like
forwards,
yourself, but
yep.
6'9",
we
6'10".
put Draymond as point too.
Draymond, you're not really.
He initiates offense.
Hey, you heard
Nah,
Chuck. That Chuck
camera.
was like,
Nah.
We jumped the shark, Chuck. We lost the plot right there. He said,
Does he not initiate offense?
He ain't no point, though.
He's more
Why
of,
isn't he?
He don't
from the
dribble.
point
I mean, bro,
forward.
he ain't-
He's more of
nah, I
a
don't
point
think-
forward.
So what's LeBron?
He's the quarterback of the
LeBron
offense.
is a point guard on
Quarterback.
offense.
Point.
So who initiates the offense in Golden State?
I think that's Steph. Steph just go get it.
I guess you
He
don't see
just go get
Steph.
his?
I guess you don't see Steph
off
in
screens.
the down off screen.
yeah, I mean,
I mean,
elevator.
Draymond's in the middle with the rock. Like,
Handle it just like that too.
That's a fair
Need
point.
everything.
yeah, like
All of that shit.
waiting
you
for the
feel me?
handoff.
Right.
He initiates offense.
But that's the
yeah,
thing too
very
when you really
points
look at that
offense.
position, because I wouldn't call Steph a true point guard just from that standpoint, because I need his ass to get
He's a
buckets.
point.
But it's the same way with Gil. I wouldn't call Gil a true point guard, even though he needed to do that shit to get his buckets off.
We gotta look at the point guard.
All right, so
hard.
we talking about
Maybe then,
true
right.
point guard.
It's hard, but
Steph is
by
a true point guard.
technicality though.
About true point guards, and we going back to the top 5. Rajon Rondo got to be on the list.
Is this
That might be
Kentucky
bias.
love?
That might be Kentucky
is this
bias. I love Rajon.
I don't care if you don't. I said what I said. I said what I said.
You thought, nigga? I
And
said
we
what I
talking about
said.
pure point guards.
Right.
He has to.
And this is the thing, man. Everybody nowadays is concerned with, it's really what's the list to you, but you actually, and this is why I always defer to people like yourself, you've actually been out there seeing these dudes.
Saw that shit
We
live.
go on Basketball Reference, we go on Stat Muse, and he was this and his offensive rating, but it's like, no, you had to actually guard that nigga on the court or see him in action to see the fear he instilled on the other side. So that's why I can't even really argue or debate with somebody like yourself. Like, we can debate amongst each other because none of us played one NBA minute combined.
I
But
smelled the court. You feel me?
I smelled it like one time time I got close enough. Like,
Put my feet on the hardwood one time after All-Star game. Man. After that,
and
nothing.
it smelled rich.
Rich motherfucker, y'all be smelling good, dog. Y'all
Even when you sweaty,
drop
like
the cologne, dog. That's what my All-Star takeaway was. Rich motherfucker smell good as hell, dog. What y'all be on, my boy? You feel me?
I got to ask you, how have you been keeping your body in shape and getting ready if you get called back to the NBA? What have you been doing to stay
I want to
healthy?
see you back out there
Yeah.
too, dog.
yeah, we don't want you here. You know, like we
Service.
appreciate you pulling
Yeah.
up.
But you a hooper, G.
We'll hold the spot. You come back whenever. But
For me, I just try to emulate what it would be like during the season. I lift every day. I do skill work every day. I hoop 3 to 4 times a week just to have my body used to that wear and tear. Obviously, it's not NBA level, but the simulation of it is keeping me somewhat where I need to be for when I do get a call, if I get a call. So just more so staying consistent in my work. That's really all it is. You know, I get my rest in on the weekends, and Monday I'm right back to it. So I just try to emulate an NBA schedule.
So I want to ask you this from my perspective because I watch a lot of NBA, and I'm watching and I'm like, damn, Boogie could be
Easily.
Cooking.
cooking in this.
Easily.
So I just want to know, how hard is it for you? We don't need to name no names or whatever. Obviously, I know you're professional and you're a good dude, but how hard is it for you to have to watch NBA games knowing that you should be on the team right now?
I mean, it's hard. As a competitor, obviously, you always want to, compete against the best. And as a competitor, you always feel like you're better than the next person. But that's just, a part of being a competitor. But the part of this business that doesn't get a lot of light shine on is the politics. And with that being said, it's not always about being better than the next guy.
For sure.
Sometimes it's just being more liked than the next guy, or whatever the case may be. So, a lot of guys get lost in that shuffle. Some of my caliber, some even better. You got, look at Melo. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. No love. Dwight, first ballot Hall of Famer. Top 75 in my opinion.
Easily.
yeah,
Come on,
for
G.
sure.
In Taiwan right now.
So, and I feel like those guys are on a level I never got a chance to reach. So, like I said, that's the nature of this business. So sometimes you get lost in the shuffle, but I'm keeping hope alive. I'm grinding every day, staying professional, staying ready. So, if it happens, it happens.
So you talk about professional. So I got I know you saw the Bob Meyers interview, recent episode of All the Smoke, and he basically said, you guys had a call. You asked him why you weren't in the league, and he told you have to act better to get back. You just can't be average. You need to convince people. And he also said that it was unfair that that's what it was. Mm-hmm. But for you, when you hear that, did you agree with his assessment, or how'd you leave that phone call?
The phone call did happen. The story is true, but obviously it was a lot of details left out of the conversation.
Okay.
And, with it being a small snippet, or I know how interviews go.
Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't harp on and go into detail about what the conversation. It was very brief.
Yeah, we're talking about something else, and they kind of got into it.
Basically, he was telling me, like, teams are afraid of what they think I can do. Not necessarily that I did anything wrong or I'm still doing anything wrong. It's just the perception to me is so bad that they think I'll do the unthinkable or something crazy. So he was saying that it's unfair that I have that label on me because obviously me and Bob have a relationship from my year at Golden State, but we've stayed in touch. It's a guy I got a lot of respect for, and I feel like, it's mutual. So I also trust his word. And one thing about this business, it's hard to get honest answers or honesty. It's always just people blowing smoke.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of political correctness. So even if you do make a mistake, it's hard to go and correct it because you can't get the honest assessment of what you did wrong.
Oh, wow.
So you can't go back in the mirror like, I need to work on this. You'll get some bullshit ass answer and then you just lost. You know what I'm saying? So you just lost trying to figure it out. Right. But that's part of why we had the phone call, and the conversation was great. But the way it came out, and we actually spoke afterwards. I'm like, damn, Bob, you ain't do me no favors with that one.
I was gonna ask you. I'm a UCLA guy. Bob played with my brother at UCLA, and I know he meant well with that.
Absolutely, Bob meant well. He had all the right intentions.
Dog.
It just didn't come out the way he probably processed it in his head.
He wasn't even thinking. I mean, they were talking
And
about some other shit.
Yeah, right.
Your name came up,
So,
and he kind of told
You know,
that
we
story.
chatted about it afterwards. You know, he apologized. He was like, sorry if I, didn't say it the way you wanted to hear it. But I'm like, it's no ill will. I
Shit,
know you
apologize with a roster spot, my boy. Bobby? No, I'm just kidding.
But, Bob is really good people. So it's
So when I know you probably, when we were in Vegas, Tim Connolly kind of rolled through. We were at the crossover. Y'all said what's up to each other. It seems like you got a good relationship with a lot of front office execs and people like that. So when you calling around talking to these guys, if you're doing that, I mean, what kind of stuff are they telling you? You hearing a similar thing that you're hearing from Bob, or?
Sometimes it's just teams don't have the roster spots and the money, and it's a lot of different things that play a part into a guy being signed to a team. It's not just about, he's better than him.
For sure, yeah.
It doesn't work that
need
way.
and all that shit, yeah.
Tim Connolly got there, and they already had a roster. They already had backup bigs. They just traded for, one of the top bigs in the league. So, obviously, it's not going to be where DeMarcus is. It's nowhere for me to be.
Yeah.
So, that's just a part of the business. And sometimes this is just about opportunity. You got to wait for that opportunity, take advantage of it, and then you slip it back in. So, that's just how this shit goes.
You stayed busy this summer, hooping obviously, but you also went to broadcast school.
Right.
Where'd you go and how was that?
I went to USC's broadcasting school through the
You got that UCLA
alumni there. It's a UCLA alumni.
We don't have a broadcasting school, though, so I respect it. You could go over it. We just got all the hitters in the game.
Super dope program. Kind of really opened my eyes to other talents I believe I have, and I got a lot of good reviews from it. So this is a step forward as well, being here with you guys.
There we go,
Appreciate
man. We
it.
appreciate you.
I just thank you for not putting us out of work, because we saw you pull up and it was like, damn, one of us about to, get put on waivers. Boogie shit too good. I might have to look for another gig, but it seems like you're a natural fit for this stuff. I think we talk nowadays all about the old media, the new media, a lot of guys, current players, former players doing pods. Obviously, Wave and the Buckets family have the Kelsey brothers doing their amazing podcast. Is that something that you would think about doing?
Yeah, I'm definitely down. For myself, just speaking on myself, I feel like I'm well-rounded. I feel like I can speak on any topic. I may not be a genius in every topic, but I can at least give you a little something. But I'm going to have some type of knowledge about it.
For sure.
So, I think I got a lot of insight I can give, a lot of knowledge, and, I've been around the block, bro. I've been at the mountaintop, and I've been at the lowest of lows. So, I got plenty of stories, plenty of advice, plenty of knowledge. So I think I'm built for this.
Just to give you a little motivation, there's a ton of people who are not geniuses and have no business doing pods. They're out here caking bread and doing pods. So don't ever feel like.
Trust me, I know. I know. And it sucks because a lot of them have the label expert.
Yeah.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yes.
All right, appreciate you, Boog. Thanks for coming through. You know what I mean? You're back for 2 more episodes. So, if you have any questions, definitely send us those questions in the comments and all that. So, all right, appreciate you, boy.
Appreciate you guys, man. Yes, sir.
Oh, I got to see this dap.
I gotta say,
Perfectly executed.
Zoo gave me the handshake last week, and it was tough.
Zoo hit my man with the Obama, but
We
you
can run
came
that
in
clip.
low.
Gets a lot more of the attention.
You came in low. You got to come in high,
And
G.
I had the dog. I had
Nice
too many
to meet you,
things.
Zoo. You know what I mean?
The black dap,
Hey,
right?
that's a nigga dap, bro. That's my third N word. That's the, that's
Zoo.
I get my third one.
Yeah.
Boom. Hit me with the pop and
here go
everything.
3 more for you.
Right. Zoo a real one. But that was funny.
Nah,
as
but
hell.
we
Yeah,
appreciate
you called
you.
that Zoo.
For sure, yeah.
So you gave Zach the black dap. That's important.